Okay. Email's sort of gone out of vogue somewhat, but is there really still a place for it in your marketing strategy? For those who haven't been on one of my webinars before, my name's Catherine Salt, and I founded a social media company called Marketing Line. I not only do social media, but I specialize in traditional marketing. If you want to look me up or find me, you can find me at those details on this slide here, and I will be happy to connect with you on any of these platforms, so please do look me up. So as I said before, why use email? You know, we're constantly being bombarded with articles, news stories, and people like me proclaiming the huge advantages of using social media. Well, social media is great for growing your business and growing your customer base and building relationships with the customers you already have. So it can be really easy to forget about email. I mean, it can be, so many of us receive tens and hundreds of emails a day, which we barely get read. So it can seem a bit like a futile exercise, investing time into an email marketing campaign. However, like all marketing tactics, one of the strengths of email is being used as part of a strategic campaign, integrating it with all your other activities. I still get my best results from email marketing. I've even achieved a return on investment of 7,000 to 1 on one email for my lingerie boutique. So why should you look at it? Right, well, shocking as it may seem, not everybody is on social media. You know, we hear all the time about how many millions of people are on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. But, you know, depending on your customer base, you may have more people who have an email address than a Facebook login. And do you really want to narrow your communications by making that assumption of where your customers are spending their time? One of the great things about email is really low cost. There's loads of email providers out there that offer a simple setup, email templates, analytics to see how well you're doing, and software to help you being labeled as a spammer. I think that everybody who works with email has their favorite provider. And the one I really like to use is called MailChimp.com. One of the great benefits of MailChimp is it's actually free to send emails if you have less than 2,000 subscribers on your list. There are lots of other providers you can use, such as Aweber has a very good reputation, Constant Contact, and you'll find that they all usually have a free trial. So you can go in and have a go and see if they're the right fit for you. Also, the most fundamental thing about email is it actually works. You'll get a higher response rate. As I said before, I typically get much higher response rate in email marketing than I do from social media. For my lingerie business, this has got a lot to do that my target demographic is more mature and a lot more comfortable using email. The great thing about email as well is I can put in images, customers can go back to it, and they can click through directly to items. We'll be talking a little bit later in the webinar how you're going to be able to track how effective your emails are. And finally, the targeting of emails is really helpful. You know, it's really simple to segment the emails you send out based on your customer preferences and interests. This means you can tailor the content, making it more relevant, and the more relevant it is, the more effective it's going to be. All you need to do is set up different groups in your list and add them to your sign-up form. And subscribers can then always go in and edit their preferences when they want. So, for example, with my business, I give customers the option to sign up based on what brands they like to buy, what sizes they wear, which means a lady who's a 34G isn't going to be getting emails about a bra that only goes up to a D cup. So how do you get that successful email to work for you? You know, what are those ingredients? The key thing is you've got to have an audience who actually wants to receive your email. It's important not just to add people to your list without their consent. Unwanted email, whoever it's from, is spam. It's much better to have a smaller list filled with people who want your information, value your emails, and will act on it, than it is to have a huge list that's never opened. And even worse than that, you can get those people and they could actually be reporting you as spam, which can cause you to get blocked. The next step is actually having killer content. Your content has to be absolutely cracking. It has to be valuable and relevant. It can be really easy when you're struggling with what to write to rely on a strong sales message. However, it's much better to try and build a relationship with your audience through relevant and interesting content. This doesn't mean you can't use email to sell, but if that's all you're using your email for, you're going to see a quick decline in your open rates and an increase in your unsubscribe. Once you've lost these people, it's really hard to get them back. And then knock out subject lines. I can't tell you how important it is. So many people will rely on their subject line to tell them why they should open the email. You know, when you're faced with a page full of emails in your inbox, the natural thing to do is to scan down for anything interesting or anything that needs action. So this is where an intriguing or informative subject line can make the difference between your subscriber hitting the trash button or opening your email. Make sure your emails are timed for maximum impact. You know, if you work in a corporate environment, the tendency is to send out emails between 9 and 5. However, you know, this can mean you're hitting your audience during the middle of their working day. They may not have time to read your email. The only way to identify the best time to send your emails is by testing it. Send them at different times of the day, send them in the evening, send them at the weekend, and see what your open rates are like. Not only is it important the time of day that you send your emails, but it's also how often you send them. You know, you may think that your company uses have Stop the Press written all over it, but your subscribers may not be interested in receiving yet another email after the 3 you've already sent them that week. It's best when somebody does subscribe to your email list that you're upfront about the frequency of your emails and be consistent about it. If you say you're going to do a monthly newsletter, do a monthly newsletter. In addition to sending too many emails, not sending enough, and being inconsistent can be just as damaging. Strategic integrations. I think a lot of people think that email stands alone. I've worked with companies and the people who run the email campaigns, they've talked to the social media people, but there is no need for the different channels to have different marketing messages. The way it works is that it's not uncommon to get an open rate of only 25% of your email. And with only 6% of people ever coming back to your Facebook page, it's becoming increasingly difficult to show up in people's newsfeed on Facebook. Actually duplicating that message gives you a much better chance of that being seen at all. So by utilising the different channels, you've got a much better chance of success. So building your list, like we said before, it's about having people who want to read your emails. And there's a saying, the money is in the list. And what this means is you need to be able to contact your customers. You need to be able to keep in touch so that you remain top of mind when they want to make that purchasing decision. As great as Facebook and Twitter are, you don't own the fans' personal information. They're owned by Twitter and Facebook. If something should happen to your account, you would lose access to these people immediately. Even now, it's, like I said before, it can be difficult to communicate with your fans. And the emails you send through on Facebook can often end up in the magic other mailbox. By building your own list, you're safe in the knowledge that you own your subscriber data. So how do you build your list? But first thing, make it obvious. If you've got a website, put it up there nice and clearly, put it above the fold. This is one of the most important things you can get a visitor to do on your website. So why hide it away at the bottom of the page? In addition to making it easier to subscribe, don't make it difficult to unsubscribe. And I know it's easy to sort of think, well, I don't want people to leave my list. I want them to stay. But it's much better for you to have them unsubscribe than click the spam button. I always have an option to unsubscribe at the top of every email I send out. If you don't want to receive my emails, then please unsubscribe. There is absolutely no value having somebody on your list who never reads your emails. In fact, if you're paying on a cost per email basis, it can soon stack up if you have 1,000 people on your email list that don't want to be there. So, make it easy. There's no need to ask for too much information. Realistically, the less information you ask for, the more likely you are to get people to complete that subscription form. After all, do you really need to know their post address? I mean, are you going to write to these people? No. Do you need their date of birth? People are very wary of giving out too much information online. So do yourself a favour. Just ask for what you need. First name, last name, email address. In fact, you don't actually have to ask for anything more than their email address. Make it worth it. It's all about providing value. You see a sad little subscribe button at the top of a website. It's not exactly enticing. But if you provide an option so your subscriber gets something of value, they're much likely to give up their details. You can offer a free white paper or a how-to guide, and be upfront. What's the subscriber getting? What are they giving you their details for? Are they going to get discounts, special offers, product updates, invites to events? And then you're managing the type of expectation they're going to be getting. And that's going to really help ensure that your unsubscribe rate stays low. Make it integrated, as I said before. You can cross-promote your email sign-up on other platforms. This will really help get more people on your list. You could add an option to subscribe on the bottom of your email signature, for example. So every email you send out on a day-to-day basis has a call to action to subscribe. On Facebook, you can add a sign-up form as part of your landing page. MailChimp makes this really easy for you as well, and that's another reason I like it. It's pretty, you don't have to have any technical knowledge at all for that. On your LinkedIn profile, you have the option of adding 3 web addresses. So why not make one of them a sign-up for your free how-to guide? In addition, finally, Twitter. You can put a URL on your Twitter biography. So you can use this as a way of deepening your relationship with your Twitter followers. And YouTube, and I love this one, and this is what I do on my videos, is you can add what they call a promotional overlay to your videos with a link through to your sign-up form. In addition to that, online advertising needn't be forgotten. It's a relatively inexpensive way of getting your message out to a wider audience. You can use Google AdWords or Facebook adverts. So, for example, I offer these free webinars which help, build my list as well, improving my search optimization for my website. And I use Facebook adverts to promote these webinars and increase my circle of influence. You can easily do the same. Also, make alliances. There's a lot of people online who are interested in what you do and maybe do something similar. You know, reach out to bloggers and forums. Find people in your specific niche. And, you know, you'll find out that most forums allow you to have a link back to your own website. And that's going to enable you to promote your list or whatever you're offering for free. And by building a relationship with bloggers, you know, you can look at offering guest posts with a link back to your sign-up form. And it's not just external people that you can make alliances with, but also people who have already subscribed to you. You can ask your subscribers to recommend, share, forward your newsletter if they find it interesting. You could also incentivize these guys. I suggest, you know, you could set up a specific list for them, because if they've gone to the effort of recommending you, it's likely that they're going to be making up a part of your core loyal fan base. And this should really be nurtured. But, you know, you should look after these guys. I would say a huge big warning sign or big warning caution for this. I would never ever sell or share my list with anyone. People have given their details for you and you alone. You can do considerable damage to your reputation by selling this valuable information. I'd also recommend that you never buy lists to increase your customer base or your subscriber base. It's really difficult to tell whether the details are current or whether these people on these lists would even be interested in, you know, what you're doing. And the thing is, buying this and sending out these emails, you could easily be regarded as being a spammer. And it's possible to get penalised by your email provider if you receive too many reports of being junk mail. So, killer content. You know, you can have all the incentives under the sun, but if the content of your email sucks, you know, all those subscribers who you've worked so hard to get will soon be unsubscribing. So, what makes effective content? The key thing to remember, it's not all about you. It can be really tempting to talk just about your business, because that's what you think your subscribers want to hear. But more realistically, the only people agree to sign up to your list is because of the what's in it for me factor. If you're a user, if you don't provide your subscriber with content that informs, entertains, or educates, you know, they're not going to be giving their valuable time to read it. For example, you know, if you had a hair salon, you could send out an email after the Oscar ceremony featuring hair-up styles with simple how-to instructions. And guess what? If they try that at home and can't get it perfect, you will be the first stop next time they need their hair doing for a swanky do. Also, it's not just what you write, it's how you write it. Keep it short. You know, no need to write War and Peace. People are infamous for not wanting to click the scroll down button on anything. If you can get the majority of your email above the fold on the screen, the better. Also, write in a conversational style. Try and avoid jargon. Try and, you know, write the way you would speak to your subscriber. You know, use short sentences. And it's really important that people aren't faced with just like a massive block of text. So add paragraphs, you know, break it up with bullets and lists. And one thing I think a lot of people forget is click the spell check button. It can be really distracting to see poor spelling and poor grammar. And it's something that's really simple to fix. And finally, when you're writing content, you need to have an objective in mind. Is there a specific action you want your readers to take? Do you want them to click through to the website, buy something, forward your email to somebody else, or RSVP to an event? If you want someone to do something, you need to make sure you have a call to action as part of your content. Tracking. One of the brilliant things about email, it's really easy to track. A lot of the email providers have analytics, and what I've got here on this slide is results from a campaign I did for my lingerie business. So these are different aspects that you can track. Now, as you can see here, you can track your opens. Now, if you are testing your subject line for your emails, opens is the metric you want to follow, because that's what you're trying to get, the most opens by your subject line. Clicks, that's the number of people who have clicked some of the content on your email. Unsubscribed, obviously that's people who decided they don't want your email anymore. And complaints, and unfortunately that's a little bit high for me, 5, is people who basically said you're spam. Now, all of the people on my lingerie business list have all opted in, but people forget. Or it's quicker to click the link, the junk button, than it is to unsubscribe properly. And this is what I mean about making it as easy as possible for them to unsubscribe. You know, don't do one of these. I tried to unsubscribe to a company recently, and I had to log back into my account. It was something I didn't use very often. I couldn't find my login. And it just makes it difficult. And then obviously there's my return on investment. Now, because this is for a retail website, tracking my return on investment is really easy. I can just see how many customers have bought things. That's because it's linked up with Google Analytics. One of the key things to the success of your email is undertaking this testing. You know, test your subject line, test your content, test the calls to action. From the best results from testing, now you do need to have a substantial base. You know, there's no point really testing with just a few hundred subscribers. So those are my top tips to making sure that your email marketing is successful. Our next webinar is next month, and it is the 20th of March, and it is phenomenal Facebook pages for your boutique. Now, on the 29th of February, it's anticipated that Facebook is going to be launching timeline for brand pages, which means that the way your brand page looks at the moment is going to change completely. So I'd recommend coming along to this, because it will give you a good overview of what the changes are and how they're going to affect your business, whether or not you have a boutique or not. So you can sign up at the URL here, or if you've got a greedy smartphone with a QR reader, you can scan that QR code.